Welcome to the Shootin The Que podcast presented by Heath Riles Barbecue with tips, tricks, and an inside look at some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to another episode of Shootin The Que. Today, of course, I'm joining my lovely wife. And today, Mr. Thyron Mathews. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you and your wife having me.
Oh, man, I'm just glad you come to town. And for everybody that don't know who you are, kind of tell everybody who you are and how you got into barbecue and what you do now.
Oh, my goodness. So who is Thyron Mathews? Born in a little small town called Royal, Florida. It's actually one of the towns that the slaves got their 40 acres and a mule. Only place in the United States of America. They got their 40 acres and a mule, and we still have the land in our family. So I grew up in a small little country town, no stoplights, bunch of dirt roads, bunch of farming, bunch of watermelon picking, cucumber, that type of stuff. Hard work. Pretty good at football. Got a scholarship to go to Iowa University to play some football. Came on down to Iowa University, met my wonderful wife. She was a freshman, I was a senior. So I decided to stick around, get a part-time job working at the sheriff's office. And we started a family. And from starting a family, working as a person that, helping the public out, you don't get paid a lot. So we just started cooking to help churches at first, and then it turned into when BBQ Pitmasters came out, got hooked on the competition thing, and we didn't have any standing organization in the state of Iowa, so we did a lot of county fairs and did a lot of different events like that. Iowa Barbecue Society came along later on, and then I started cooking into that, winning a lot. Paying more money than getting more money for winning, and just continue going into that part of the world. And at that same time, just discovering that I had a good barbecue, doing weddings free, doing anything free just to fill up my grill. And, we just started TNT Barbecue like that, just helping people out, doing weddings, cooking for Charlie Daniels, cooking for David Allen Cole, that kind of stuff. Because when those good Southern men come into town to do concerts, I was only one Southern cook they had in Iowa, and that was me. We had enough pork, but we ain't had nobody to cook it. So they'll call me, So it was kind of excited to do that kind of stuff.
That sounds fun. So Who's the other T in T&T Catering?
My beautiful wife, Terry Shane Mathews. Yeah, so it's got Thyron and Terry. TNT Barbecue, yes.
So does your wife help you with the catering all now and everything?
Oh, yes, she has to, because it's a handful. She has a full-time job as a domestic abuse advocate. She goes around schools teaching kids and teaching everybody about the danger of domestic violence and how not to get yourself involved and that type stuff. So she's a public servant too, so that's what our heart goes out for, helping the youth, helping people that's hurting. So,
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, talking about you cooking barbecue contests and things like that, yeah. I see you've actually won 16 Grand Championships.
Yes, sir. A lot of people don't understand, my heart goes out to you, bro, because that competition barbecue is difficult. When you go out there, it's not no guarantee, and it's so many things that goes into competing, like the box making. Like, I used to get paid to make other people boxes out there. They'd be like, "Hey, come make my box."
People used to holler at me, "Come build their box." I was like that.
So I go out there, okay, give me $100 bill, because I'm limiting my chance of winning. So, it's a monster of its own, because you could put in $1,200, $1,300, and then the grand prize is, at the time I'm doing, is $500-$600. Yep. So it's like you do anything because you just love doing it. It's the passion.
I've been there. I know. It's definitely a passion. You got to have a passion for it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Like, you pay your light bill, but then you got to compete.
Yeah.
True.
I can remember truck transmissions going out, coming back from places, going up in the mountains to cook. But at one time when we were rolling, it was cost about $2,000 for I pulled out of the driveway. Between entry fee and meat, and I was cooking whole hogs and, 15 slabs of ribs and 8 whole pork shoulders doing this Memphis-style events.
Yes.
By the time you were buying the high-end Duroc meat and charcoal, I didn't have really any sponsors back then.
Mm-hmm.
And you were 2,000 deep, so you had to win to even think about breaking even.
Yes.
You had to win 2 categories. Really.
Yes.
And I got pretty fortunate, I guess. There were some years that I'd win 12, 13 contests out of the 15 I'd cook in.
Oh my goodness! And my heart goes out to you because I know that takes some work. It is work. It don't even start like people think it starts when you pull up. Them the people that you like to see. The people that
you're exactly right. Those are the people that's trimming on Friday when they get there, meat inspection and doing their picking of the greens and just making their sauces or injections or rubs up. Oh no, you're probably like me. You start on Tuesday laying meat out. Wednesday you probably making injections and sauces, or either trimming or both.
Yep.
And then Thursday you probably on the road.
Yes. And none of the people you like to see at contests is when you're trying to win because you're like, so preparing is a whole week event, making sure everything packed. And one thing about me, I was always the guy that people say, I need a light, I need an injection, I need a needle, I need this because.
Oh, I haul everything too.
Yes, I hauled everything. And my wife like, honey, it's packed full. We can't get no more on it. And, but it's good to be like that because, even though we're competing against each other, we want to beat each other at their best.
That's right.
So it was.
I'd much rather get loan a man something and beat him than I had shun him.
Yes.
Because that just don't. I don't know. It ain't right.
It just ain't right. Yep. So
I'm the same way on that.
So did you primarily compete just in Iowa, or have you traveled to other states to compete?
I did a little Iowa, Southern Missouri.
Okay.
Just more like the state fair, things of that nature. And did a couple of them in Florida before Florida had a different association. And it was a lot of just 25, 30, 40 teams competing. But I was very fortunate to win, and I kind of stuck with familiar flavors. That's what I used to always tell my wife, familiar flavors, honey, because all of the judges I would think went in KCBS. Now when we did have KCBS judges, that was a treat because then I knew I can kind of amp up a different flavor profile when they used to announce that, because that was a big thing, especially in Iowa when they say you get KCBS judges. Now it's like, wow, I get to put the flavor to the max because we have judges like you can watch from the judges table when you walk by there, like everybody do it where I'm from, and you'll see a judge just finish off a whole bone of ribs like. Oh, that's a win for me, So it's like one of those things.
Have you ever cooked Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo? You ever been down there?
No, but we'll be going down this year. Yes, we'll be going down with Uncle Steve Shake, out of Houston, Texas. Great guy. He's been a great supporter of me and our team for a long time. For the last 6 years, Uncle Steve Shake. So
it's Houston is a. I always thought that Memphis in May was one of the biggest at American Royal, but Houston, it's a beast of its own, is it not?
It's a sight to see. If you've never been.
It's more than a sight. Every tent has live bands almost.
Yes.
Huge parties. Just, I don't know. And the cooking comes secondary, it seems like, to everybody. Seriously.
It does seem like that's not the main reason that some people are there.
Yeah.
Every year we've been invited for us Uncle Steve tents, and last year, unfortunately, we had a death in the family, and then the year before then, a couple years before then, the show was on the same time as I think it was February.
Yep.
So yes,
February.
So I was shooting a show.
So how big of a family do you have? Do you have any children?
Yes, I do. I have a daughter. Oh man, her name is Gladys, And I have a son, Thyron Mathews, the third, excuse me, and then my son Dallas, named after my favorite football team, Dallas Cowboys.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, good looking kids. My boys look like Tarzan on the football field, but they play like Jane.
Oh my goodness.
That's a pretty good one.
Oh gosh.
So how old?
My youngest son is 17. Got another son that's 19, and my daughter's 20.
So she keeps them in line.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would ask you, are the boys helping you at barbecue a lot? But being that age group, I'm going to probably guess they got a lot of extra activities going on.
Oh, my goodness.
With schools and girls and everything else, right?
Everything else. And Dallas is big on performing, but Dallas actually helps me out a lot. He's the only one out of the kids that just kind of like takes hold of it because, he sees like the more family history that we have with barbecuing, because we kind of do the whole mop thing, and I always call myself the prodigal son of barbecue because I used to try everything, and I never forget a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, it was on a YouTube video, and I said, Mom, I got to wrap my ribs and do this. She said, boy, we ain't never wrapped no ribs before. You mop them ribs and you let them get done, and when they get done, they do this and they done. Don't be wasting all that aluminum foil, and at the time we was cooking 65 Sunday slabs of ribs, and I said, okay, Mama, but I'm telling you, I like wrapping them, putting the honey and the brown sugar, and she's like, yeah, well, you just cooking for one person, but you cooking for this whole group of people. And I just kind of went back to mopping, went back to doing it the old-fashioned way, and I remember my mama coming out there, getting the old stick off of, we was in Iowa, actually. She got an old oak tree limb and got a couple rags, cut slits in them, and made up the mop sauce, and we start mopping the ribs, and I kind of fell back in love with that style of cooking. So that's why I'm the prodigal son, because I was doing everything else but what I grew up doing, because I just felt like it was kind of like, it was like, oh, we improved. It's time to go on to something else. That was how
I've been the same way. I think sometimes simple is better.
Yes. So
I mean, I do. I mean, I like a sweet rib every now and then, but those old school ribs like that that's been mopped and left in the smoke and got tender, they have a different mouthfeel to them.
Yes, they do.
They're not, I don't know, it don't have the sponginess, but it's still moist. It's still tender. It's got a little bit, what I say, integrity left to it.
Yeah.
On the bone pull. But I've cooked ribs all kinds of ways, between open fire to pits to wrap, no wrap, half. It's pretty cool how, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody use a full boat method on a rib. Have you? Yeah. And I was thinking about that this morning, like the briskets,
Yeah, I've seen a couple people, but like on videos, just try it out. I love watching YouTube, and I just seen a couple people use the full board method on the ribs to pretty much get the bark they want and
glaze them up.
Glaze them up, yeah. So I was
Malcolm's really big on that. Instead of messing the grill up, he would always take his foil and pull the stuff out and fold the things down and do them right in the foil. That way they didn't mess the grill back up.
I tell you and Malcolm to save me a lot of money, because anything they keep me from cleaning them grills for hours and hours and hours, I do it.
It's I tell you, we was cooking some butts last week. We were over in Arkansas, and the guy said, "You want these fat side up or fat side down?" And I was like, "Well, if you cleaning that pit, I'd probably put them fat side up, and that way they ain't gonna stick to the grill when they're done."
Yes, sir.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Well, it's that fat. If you stick it on there, when you go to pull it up, it's gonna be stuck on the rack."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "If you turn it the other way, it's never gonna stick."
Never gonna stick.
And and I was like, "There's no need to season that fat cap. You just wasting season. You're gonna rake it off anyway."
Hey, but you sell seasoning, so season the
we
galore.
do, if I trim but you know how it is, cooking for the masses versus cooking at home. If I'm gonna trim the butt off, I trim the fat off the butt. I'm gonna trim it down, but leaving all that bacon and all that on there like that, there's really no need in it. When you're cooking a load of 80 butts, I tell somebody, if you can't get it done with 4 pounds of rub, you don't need it. 4 pounds of rub for 85 butts on an old Hickory LEDX. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
I have people tell me, I need 20 pounds of rub for that. I'm like, no, you don't. I have people all the time that buy 20 pounds of rub and they don't need but 4 pounds.
Wow.
Well, you know how it is. How many places have you been to that the bark is so caramelized because the sugar's in the rub that it makes it so crunchy it's unbearable to eat?
Yes.
Where if you just season the meat like it needs to be, you still taste the meat, still get some good crunchy barbecue bark, but it's not so hard or so dried up from the sugars.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell with the smoke ring how much it penetrates and how deep, and because a lot of times people's cooking low and slow and cooking 10 to 12 hours, right?
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that sugar gonna caramelize.
Gonna caramelize,
Yes.
100%. Well, I see here you also have a relationship with Iowa Pork.
Yes. Iowa Pork, they are such great sponsors. You know, Miss Joyce and the whole crew. That relationship was based off of just we want to help. We want to help you to go out there and be the best you can be. And that's the reason why Iowa Pork is so special to me. It was like, you know, we don't want much in return. We just want you to keep doing what you're doing, because I'm big on pork tenderloin. Pork loin, excuse me, not pork tenderloin, but pork loin and pork tenderloin, because it's such a blank canvas. And
It is.
a lot of people don't know how to cook pork loin right. They will go to 165 and argue down and say that's the Bible. And I'm saying, matter of fact, let's go to 140. Let it go up to 145 while it's resting.
That's right.
And I've been cooking pork loin so many years because that was my go-to, because it's very reasonable and it tastes amazing. And to me, that was the way I show my creativity and also show my knowledge of making something that people say they don't eat because it's so dry, making it tender, moist, and juicy, and that's my wedding meal.
So you mopping those as well, just like you do the ribs?
Yes. I only mop them twice because I don't want to destroy the integrity of the bark. But when they almost there, you just hit them with that mop, and I kind of do something a little different because I like adding dirty smoke as an ingredient. So at the end, I want to get that nice mop on it, and then I add like a little dirty smoke. Well, how you just close down your vents, choke it down a little bit.
Throw a little wood chip or something in.
Yeah, throw some more wood on there and just let it just get that little dirty smoke to get that last little hint of smoke flavor into your, because some of those pits run so clean till you don't really get the smoke flavor that you're searching for. So I like to choke them down a little bit.
Who does that sound like? We used to do that in competition on ribs.
With ribs, we did.
Awesome.
We would choke it down.
Don't tell all my secrets.
I tested. We tested all kind of wood chips.
Yes, sir.
Right, to use, because wood chips was something really quick at the end. You could throw on the fire to set that sauce, choke it down. And my theory was the smoke is going to attach to that sauce pretty quick, so you can cook with smoke the whole time. Just burn down charcoal and then attach smoke on the end, and the judge can't tell you the difference.
No.
They can't tell you the difference. But I did find out using hickory, cherry, I tried everything, that peach was the best suited for light, delicate smoke on a rib or chicken.
Wow.
Versus, like the hickory. The hickory tended to be too harsh.
Oh, yes.
When you try them side by side, you're like, oh, yeah, I can really see the difference.
Well,
now,
and
tasting hickory by itself, you're like,
for competition.
Okay,
I mean, some people like that harsh hickory, but competition, not really.
Yeah, and I
Your
cook with
judges
hickory
don't.
wood too.
Okay.
Usually with hickory sticks, but when it comes to setting sauce, I use peach because, like you said, my pit burns very clean. As long as you give it the right amount of air intake when you throw a log on, you know what I mean, not shut the door right back and let it catch the fire before you shut the door. It'll stay at 275, 300, whatever I've got it dialed at. And that's where a lot of people open the door, throw their piece of wood on. It's usually too big and slam the door right back.
Yes, sir.
Not letting that wood get any kind of spark to it whatsoever. And that's where everybody gets that bad, dirty smoke. What you're calling dirty smoke ain't dirty smoke.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure you're not putting a whole new, fresh, barked up log on the fire to do that and choking it down.
No.
That's what I'm calling dirty smoke.
Oh, okay.
That old white, nasty looking.
None of that. No, I just get like a little more, it gets a little less darker than clear, and just add a little
I know exactly
more
what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
To me, when I'm describing that white like that, almost is like a creosote taste. Yep.
Yes.
Take it out of my. Yep. It just, I don't know. It's
Have you belching?
That's exactly it. It gives you the heartburn.
Yes, it does.
You know, that green hickory wood with I don't know what it is, but there was one old beer store back at the county line, because the county I'm in, like you, did no red light, small town.
Yes, sir.
So you had to go anywhere. So we was a kid, we always went to beer store, and it was on the opening weekend of deer season. The man that owned it, his father, always come in and he'd trim pork butts, all the fat off of them. And he would only use salt on them. He would only cook with green hickory wood. And then he would chop all that meat up super fine. Slaw, sauce on a bun. They sold them for $2.50. You know, during deer season, everybody's coming through deer season. But that brings back old school to me, and that had that old taste to it.
Yeah.
But on a bud, it ain't bad because you're chopping it up and there's so much meat with it.
Yeah, so much meat with it, yeah.
But a rib, it just, I don't
overtakes
like
it.
Yeah, it overtakes it. Yeah, you can't really taste the meat,
yes,
like you should.
Yes.
I have to ask, where was your first GC at?
My first GC was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And that's a pretty big city in the state of Iowa. It's the second biggest city. And I went down there, and we was doing, I forgot the name of the contest. It was Nubo. It was one of those bigger contests, and I remember coming down there, and I had old Rusty. And a gentleman looked at me that owns a pretty big restaurant. He said, you know, this is a professional barbecue contest. And I never forget, and me and my wife come in, I was feeling very insecure because I was like, because a lot of people had old hickories, a lot of people had Jambos, and I was out there with old Rusty.
Was that dude cooking on a Jambo?
He was actually cooking on a old hickory, and he had it on a school bus, and it was big, nice setup, and he had a nice setup, and I was sitting out there, and me and my wife was cooking, and my wife said, "Baby, you'll be okay, honey." And this was my first contest, and it came up there, and we was cleaning up. You know how you clean it up, and they said, "Everybody gather around." I kind of stayed in the back because I'm like, you know, I ain't probably not gonna do nothing. And they say, "First place pork butt, TNT barbecue," and I'm sitting like, still cleaning up, still getting everything, trying to get the fire choked down. First place pork butt, TNT barbecue. and my wife like, "Baby, that's you. And I'm like, oh. And I walked up there, and that was just pork. And then they called me back for pork loin. And they called me back for chicken. And I got first place in every category.
Wow.
Every category. My first competition, first place in every category. And I was just so like,
you was hooked.
I was hooked. I was hooked.
You was hooked.
I was hooked. I tell you that. I was hooked ain't the word. I mean, I was addicted.
That first, I tell anybody, the first trophy I really ever won was a baked bean trophy.
Yes.
And it was probably about that tall.
Wow.
And that baked bean trophy cost me $20,000 the next year. Wow. Because you went out and I bought all kind of stuff to cook with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so you had to have everything new once you won that baked bean trophy.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, pretty wild. So what smoker do you use in competition now if you're not using old Rusty?
Well, I don't too much do many competitions now because I kind of went towards the vending and making money for
guaranteed
money, catering and things like that. But if I was to get back into the competition realm, I would probably go straight to my lane 108 because I love my lane and I like a good pellet grill to have. And then I like to cook on 3 different grills. I like a Weber, pellet grill, and a Lang. So I could do my.
So what do you do with the Weber on?
My Weber, I do my chicken. I do things like that, where I can get my direct style. And then my Lang, I like to mop my meat. So I like to mop my ribs, and I would use that on my Lang. And my pellet grills, I kind of use for different styles of force. Like if I get my pork butts done and I want to kind of get my money muscle sitting up a little bit, I just get my pellet grill going and getting that.
Use it for a holder pretty much and setting stuff. And all that.
setting rubs and sauces, setting sauces and different things like that.
Yeah, I do the same thing at some events. And I'd cook my chicken on a pellet grill.
Oh, okay.
I do. But I do chicken legs. I'm not like everybody else. You do thighs when you cook?
I cook thighs, yes, sir.
Yeah, I was a leg man. I could trim some legs up quick.
Man.
I weighed them out by the ounces. I would have them all within a 0.2 of an ounce of each other.
Oh, yes.
And so I would do them in batches, and I knew my cooking times and all that.
Everything matters. Write everything down. Write everything down.
I used to hate trimming. I don't know about you, but I used to, when I was running hardcore, I would trim briskets like 6 or 8 briskets at a time, sometimes 10. I would trim out 2 cases of chicken and have them vacuum sealed ribs. But when I come in on a Friday, I'd come in from a contest on a Sunday. On Monday, I'd take everything out of the freezer and throw it in an empty Yeti cooler.
Yes.
And let it be thawed out. By the time I left on Thursday, I wouldn't put ice on that. So right before meat inspection, it'd still be just thawing out perfect.
Perfect. You know, trimming to me was kind of like it kind of took me away from things. It was very like therapeutic. Like, you know, I sit there and trim a brisket and try to make it look perfect. And we wind YouTube videos, you know, because my thing is I never try to reinvent the wheel. I do that in my job when it comes to writing policy and procedures, you know. I never try to reinvent the wheel. Somebody had the same problem I had and solve the problem. So, you know, I always try to do my research and you know, that's why I thank God for like, I mean, I say this is like one of my favorite things to watch is, you know, when I look at barbecue pitmasters, I just love it, you know, because still to this day, I always take jewels away from watching that, you know, and YouTube videos. It just amazes me.
Yeah, it's I hate that I never done pitmasters.
Yes.
I got the phone call twice, and I was in Hollywood filming another commercial, Bank of America.
Yes.
That I got lucky on during the time that they called me, and I couldn't. You know how those contracts work. It was conflicting. So
yeah.
So I could not do it, but that was really the I really hate not being able to be on that show.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But
yes.
it was pretty cool.
Yes.
So, you know, talking about catering and all that, how far do you travel out to do catering for people?
Wow. Like, we're going to Atlanta in October, so we go all over, you know. We go over, we get certain permits when we go into town. And
that's for vending, right?
Yes, vending. And also I cater too.
Yeah.
You know, both. When they call me and we'll just go and we do that type of stuff. But a lot in Iowa. I go all over the state of Iowa. We do a little southern Missouri. We work good with this co-op called FS in Iowa, and they cover Missouri, a little Nebraska. So when they have those big functions where they're feeding 600-700 farmers, they always call us to do that because we have the equipment, we have the food to do that type of stuff. And
that's pretty cool.
Yes, and we always show up with that famous pork loin. And, you know, Iowa, we love the pork, so it's a pork state. So
I'm surprised you hadn't been over to do any catering and vending at Sturgis.
Oh, Sturgis Falls?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a lot of friends that go over there that leave from here to go vend up there.
Wow.
Yeah, they drive all the way up with a food trailer, but they do some vending. They do about, I think it's 6 or 8 big events a year. They go to Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay.
They go to Sturgis. You know, they only do some major events every year.
Yes. Me, it's full-time job, so it's like I have to be very selective with my vacation. You know, it's like, you know.
So when are you gonna make that switch?
when healthcare get a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that is a rough one.
Yes.
Healthcare is. Well, look, talking about all this, one of your biggest things you've done, you were on BBQ Showdown on Netflix.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So tell us the story about how that happened. They contact you. Did you write in a deal when they were looking for pitmasters?
Well, actually, it started with a video. I was doing a video just cooking 65 slabs of ribs, and it went viral. It hit like a couple million views and things of that nature. So they started contacting me like on the phone, and I thought it was my friends harassing me because I have cruel friends, you know, because they know my barbecue. So I thought it was them calling me, and I kept hanging the phone up like, knock it off, Hillary, knock it off, guys, you know, and hang the phone up. And finally, they got a hold of my wife through Messenger and said, hey, you know, have you watched the barbecue show? My wife like, yes. We watch it, me and my husband. She's like, yeah, we want to send your husband through the casting
Can you
process.
tell your husband to stop hanging up on me?
Yes, and make a long story short, so we went through the casting process, and they said, if we don't want you, we'll just basically ghost you. So 5 months went by, I never heard back from them. So I'm like, oh, well, I didn't make it, and then they called me around by October. They said, hey, you're still part of the casting process. We're still interested, let's go from here. And I remember touchdown in Georgia, Covington, Georgia. And we're sitting in the hotel room and we're introducing each other. And I remember how intimidated I was, for just hearing all the accolades of everybody else. But with that being said, my wife always is that thing, like, we need that competition tea. We need the, and I don't like bringing it out because when it comes out, it don't always come out proper,
I'm in the same boat on that one too.
So it comes out, and then I want to go 100%, and then it's totally like, I want to win. So I believe that we helped each other out, but also bits and pieces of competition tea came out where I was like, I want to win this. I want to win this for my family. I want to win this for, the city of Roy. I want to win this for the state of Iowa, and I think that kind of drove me to success, because it was a hard competition, very hard.
Y'all cooked a lot of hard stuff.
Yes, in that trench, oh my goodness. It was just like one of those things where it's like, open fire cooking all together. You give me a reverse flow smoker, give me a lane, give me a pellet grill, I'm a shine. But, we're cooking out there on the fire, kind of on the dirt, not where we could build like a pit, because I grew up in rural Florida. We cooked on pits all the time. That's where I cut my teeth at. We didn't have a barrel smoker. We had brick pits, but we're out there in this dirt doing different types of cooking. So it was one of those learning process, adapting, overcoming kind of things,
Wow. So I guess that was probably the hardest thing then, kind of adapting, overcome kind of the cooking techniques they had y'all doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then was the curveballs, because it was just like, it was something that you never did before, or if you did do it, it was just one time in your life. This ain't something that we constantly
are doing.
Yes.
Yeah. What was day-to-day like filming?
So 16, 17-hour days. So we'll go there.
Been there and done that before. I know how that is.
We'll hurry up and wait. That's how it was. Hurry up and wait. Get things done.
Be here at 6.
Yes.
Don't move till 9.
Yes.
That kind of deal.
Yeah. So that's how it was, and it was a lot of, I think that's what helped us become friends of each other. The people that was competing, we developed those relationships that gonna last a lifetime. For example, me and Logan and Miss Delilah and Joy Victoria and all those people that we there, Cindy, all us there kind of gelled together. So that's what kind of made it hard to go into a competition mode where you develop a relationship. And I'm quite sure it's the same way when you see the same competitive people day in and day out, because, week in and week out when you're competing against them,
yeah,
you like, I want to beat these guys, but they're still my friends. I want them to, and, that kind of stuff.
It's hard sometimes. It is, especially when you see your friends. You want to see them do good, but you want to win too.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I get it, and that's. I think I done a good job around here getting out of barbecue when I did.
Okay.
I was almost to the point of ruining it for some people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to sound like boastful when I say that.
No, but it's the truth, though.
But
I can understand
winning
that.
as many contests back to back as we did, and my wife would tell you it was some trash talking. You know what I mean? But I had everything was down to like within 10-minute time frame every contest. My meat didn't come out till a certain time, out of the cooler to even be seasoned. Everything had its flow.
Yes.
I was just, you couldn't beat me. I was on my game.
Hey, man, that's what it's about.
And it was just all about having the right process. And now when I go cook, I just go to have fun. I'll go and I'll do a tune-up before Memphis in May, and people's like, you running your rib recipe? And I'm like, nope, I'm doing a rib recipe I cooked on YouTube last week. I'm just playing to see how they like it.
Wow.
That's what I did when I went to South Haven. Then we went to Memphis in May and won with my recipe.
Wow.
And I adjusted it. I cook something different all the time.
Oh, man.
I'm always trying to improve myself on little flavors and just a little bit.
Letting the craft grow.
Yeah, just.
Yes.
I mean, what's the point if you can't have fun with it anymore?
You're right. That's what it's all about, having fun. And it's been fun here, like, for instance, Smoke Slam, coming here to Memphis. I mean.
How did you like Smoke Slam?
Oh, my goodness. It was amazing for us meeting the new people, working with Melissa, working with Miss Sadie. It was just amazing. But the biggest thing on Memphis, because we got to host it, me and Logan, was when we had the World Junior Barbecue League out there, and giving them, just seeing their faces light up, because we're passing a torch. And that's why I tell my kids all the time, we're passing a torch because they are the future, believe it or not, because we're going to be sitting in the crowd one day, and they're going to have to keep this, what you're building up, what the gentleman that used to cook the pork butts, how he made you feel when you taste that old hickory smoked greenwood. Same thing, that those kids going to remember us. They're going to remember me, get them all high fives and give them hugs and saying congratulations. And they're going to remember that, and they're going to want to pass that torch too. So that's how we're going to keep this craft alive right now, So that was just pretty big to me, because it was just seeing those kids light up, Money was good, but I think just walking on that stage,
A lot of kids' competitions are coming back. There's a lot of high school teams now, which
man.
I think is pretty cool. Have you seen any of that?
I seen that at the state fair, yes, in Iowa. It's getting pretty big.
Texas, Iowa is a lot more in the Midwest, and Melissa's done a good job at getting incorporated around here. And a lot of those kids from Texas travel over here to cook a lot when she does an event.
Yes.
But it's I'm like you. It is something that is growing popularity. That it seems to be the kids, at least some of them, are wanting to get involved with. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. And that just made my week out there, because during that time, I had a friend, I call him Boss Hog. He was highly recruited from every college in the United States of America. As a young kid, his kidneys failed on him, and then he got cancer. And he was passing away as I was doing the Smoke Slam event, but I was already planning to be there, and I had to Zoom call him, and couldn't be on his side while he was passing away during the Smoke Slam. So it was kind of bittersweet, because I know he wanted this for me, but then I was having him going through what he was going through, fighting for his life, and I was happy to see him going home, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to go home, My cousin preached it best when he put him to rest. He said, y'all wanted Frank here. His name was Frank Huff, but Frank wanted to go home. So it was, quit being selfish and let him. I'm glad he went home. So it was good. So I think Smoke Slam always gonna have a special place in my heart, because it was like I can remember Frank, and I can remember just the whole experience, because I met so many awesome people, and the peoples of this area have been absolutely amazing to me and my family and my people that I was down there with. Memphis just treated us like kings and queens.
So have you had any good barbecue while you was in Memphis?
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. We actually ate. I'm trying to think the name of the couple places we ate at. Interstate Barbecue. We went there. Then we're actually going to Liam's today. Is it Liam's? Payne's. We're going to Payne's today. I'm sorry.
Man, Payne's chopped pork sandwich. There's not another place like it.
Okay, that's what we're heading at today.
It's iconic. It's I don't know. That sandwich is old school, like what I'm talking about. You'll see. There ain't nothing there. The red Circle B smoked sausage?
Yes.
They cook them.
Oh, man.
Get that with mustard slaw on the bun.
Okay.
And their specialty is like a mustard slaw.
Oh.
And it's on the chopped pork, but I'm telling you, you can't replicate that.
Wow.
I mean, the place has been there 50-something years, 60-something years.
Yes.
Yeah, now they don't sell but 2 or 3 things, and that's it.
Yes. It's just like, growing up, we had this old place we call 3 Generations. They call it Pine Street BBQ. And she mopped the sauce, and she had a mustard sauce, and we used to go on there and eat that old sauce. And, I remember winning the show, BBQ Showdown. That's one of the first places I went back and told everybody about, go try this mustard sauce. And it was the same thing. It's that taste that brings back those emotions, brings back
those memories.
Those memories, yeah. So, and I know I sound like very emotional when I talk about barbecue, but that's what it means to me. It's like I remember my granddaddy, grandma, them all like going up to the smokehouse cooking ribs and stuff to pay for the people that pick watermelons. That's how they used to pay. They used to sell rib sandwiches and chicken sandwiches, and that they used to pay the workers for working in the fields, picking those watermelons.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how we used to do it,
Wow. Well, I mean, I just want to say congrats on winning the show on Netflix.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Seeing you do that, and I know that was a huge accomplishment. Did you have your products before the show or after the show?
I had the mop sauce before the show. I remember they didn't put it on film, but I remember Melissa Cookson was like, "You better have that mop sauce in a bottle, boy, next time I see you." So so soon as I touched down in Iowa, it was like a couple years before the show came out. I told my wife, I said, "Honey, I got to get that mop sauce in a bottle."
Well, listen to Melissa.
Yes,
she's a good judge.
Yes,
she is.
And it was hard finding a co-packer. Everybody. It was just hard. And finally, we found one in Texas that just took a chance with us. And it still was expensive. We kind of took what we had saved up and different things like that and cashed out different IRAs and just say, we're going to throw everything in. We're going all in. We bought a brand new concession trailer, a brand new truck, and we were just like, we're ready to go because we thought the show was going to get released that summer. And nope, it didn't get released.
Wow.
So
you
then
went on and built up even leading up to the show.
Yes. And then we thought it'll be released the following fall. Didn't get released. So we had all this mop sauce. We had all this investment, this brand new concession trailer, this brand new $100,000 truck, this brand new everything. And we just say, well, honey, nevertheless, we got it. Let's make it happen. And we just continue working hard and doing what we do. And when the show came out, we had the prize money, the $50,000, and that was the last payment we made on the truck and the trailer. So that was paid off. We just got that, took it to the bank, from the bank, paid for the concession trailer, paid for the truck, and that was just, we was done. But we had it almost paid off. Only had $50,000 left.
So by the time you got the check from winning the show, you paid it all off.
Paid it all off. Yeah, God is good. I tell you what, it was a blessing. And it was like $48,000 left on the note. And I was just like, wow, it was just amazing. And that was with the starting the sauces, starting the truck. Everything. And we just, because we wanted to be ready. So instead of getting ready, we wanted to be ready. So we bet on ourselves. We betted on, me and my wife, we kind of like, all right, it's time to bet on ourselves now, invest in what we want to do. And that's what we did. So it was scary.
Well, I even tell my son every day, if you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Yeah, amen.
You got to believe in yourself first.
That's right.
I mean, if you beating yourself up about it, nobody else is going to have the confidence to believe you can do it either.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
yep.
I tell everybody I've won that contest until the dude announcing on the microphone tells me different.
Yes, sir.
In my head, I don't want it. In my
I love
head.
that. I got to say that.
In my head.
I'm already with
I
it.
ain't screaming it out loud, but in my head, I'm over here doing dancing a jig already.
I love that.
That's the way I do it.
That's stolen. I just want you to know that.
That's stolen.
That's stolen.
Well, look, you got some. You got Grandma's pecan rub, which I hadn't tried your pecan rub. Grandpa's pecan rub.
Yes, I'm gonna have to bring you some in. I actually brought y'all some stuff. I brought you that and the Breeze open pit barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Oh, open pit barbecue sauce, and you got a mustard, and then you got the sweet and spicy mop sauce.
You got a regular mop sauce.
A regular mop sauce.
Yeah.
Wow, so how many products do you have now?
Oh,
6?
6. We got 6 products. We started with the OG mop sauce, and that is always going to be a key to my heart because that recipe is just old school as it comes. You know, it's so simple, but it's so good, and it gives the meat just so much flavor, and it also helps smoke penetrates the meat because we all know smoke sticks to moisture. Yeah. And we use it in pellet grills. We use it in every grill we have. We mop everything.
Wow.
Yes.
That is old school.
Yes.
Well,
sir.
tell everybody where they can find your rubs and sauces at and connect with you at online and things like that.
Oh, man. So if you want to connect with me for getting the rubs and sauces, you need to go to www.ThyronMathews.com, ThyronMathews.com. And then if you want to go on Instagram, go to Instagram is at Thyron Mathews. Leave the S off. My son, he had the name Matthews, so we had Thyron Mathews on Instagram, and then Facebook is Thyron Mathews. And if you want to go to the other part, my business part is be T&T BBQ and Catering LLC. So that's how you find me on Facebook.
Well, let's see if we can't get it out there. Well, I just want to tell you thank you for coming in and telling your story today and sharing everything. I thought it was pretty cool learning kind of how you got started and kind of where you're at today. It's pretty cool.
Oh, man, I thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. It's such an honor just to be here. I have to pinch myself a couple times, seriously, because I really admire y'all guys and your hard work that you put down for the barbecue community. I want to say thank y'all for having me, and just what a wonderful time. This is actually a dream coming true, and it's continue coming true. So thank y'all so much.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week with another episode of Shootin The Que.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shootin The Que podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels. Leave us a review if you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep shooting the Que.